If Will Smith had cheated on Jada, the internet would crucify him. But since it was the other way around, people are making fun of him. It is disgusting. If Will had cheated on Jada, the entire internet would turn on him and crucify him. Except because he is a man, he is the one being mocked and memed. Firstly, we don't have a reason to be involved in their relationship, and if they choose to make it work, then good on them. However, that doesn't mean Jada should be proud of her actions. She abused the trust of a great man. I'm kind of surprised the internet isn't backing Will on this, to be honest. I'm more sickened by the fact that it was one of her son's friends. Can you imagine if a bloke went out with one of his daughter's friends? And the fact that he wasn't in a good place mentally makes it even worse. If Will did that, people would be like, oh, he took advantage of a mentally unstable chick. I gotta mentally heal this person with my groin for 4.5 years. Therapy. They're not calling her a predator for manipulating and taking advantage of someone half her age, like they would if it was Will sleeping with a 23-year-old woman, especially if she had mental health issues. I'm saying it, Jada Pinkett Smith is a predator. She's not a sexual predator because of age, rather the circumstances in which they started the relationship. And it all started with him just needing some help. Me wanting to help his health, his mental state. The guy is half her age and has a variety of mental illness, depression, anxiety, addiction, PTSD, etc. He comes to her for help. She was in a position of power over him. He put his well-being in her hands, and she started a sexual relationship with him. Apparently, she isn't even a cheater since they had an open relationship. But that's neither here nor there anyway. And no, Will wouldn't be a predator if he slept with a 23-year-old either, which more than likely he has, since it's widely known they've had an open marriage for years. I also find it really frustrating that she and all the media articles I've read keep calling it an entanglement. Like, WTF does that even mean? Entanglement? Like a fishing net? I mean, we're all pretty cool with Morgan Freeman, and he ditched his longtime wife for one of his granddaughter's friends. It's still weird, but there's a precedent set that people probably wouldn't care. I keep seeing posts about this on here saying how people are excusing Jada because she's a woman, but if you have 2 brain cells, it's clear as day she was manipulative, gaslighting, narcissistic, and worse, hiding all that behind a ruse of wellness. Like what? You need to cheat to see if someone loves you forever? It made me sick. Hollywood relationships are sick. Everything she said was disgusting, and Will looked visibly hurt. His micro-expressions were heartbreaking. Imagine if Will Smith not only cheated on her, but also got on TV to talk about it with her. Oh my god, I can't imagine the outrage. Yo, I'm out of the loop. Can anyone catch me up? 2 people you don't actually know have marriage problems. Shocking stuff. Unpopular opinion. The marriages of famous people do not matter at all, and people should not pay attention to them. What? Wasn't it just a year or 2 ago that everybody knew that Will Smith and Jada have an open relationship? The reason this came to light was the fact that Will was boinking that Aussie hottie? No? Just me? This comes off as one of those, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander type deals. Kevin Hart cheated too, while his wife was 8 months pregnant, but he's still one of, if not the #1 comedian in America right now. People pick and choose what shitty behavior they'll overlook based on who committed the offense. Just posted about this. She abused the trust of a great man, LOL. To your last point, in the red toxic talk she mentioned that he has done dirt as well. It's just that no one has said anything. So if anything, they're both odd and neither should be supported or vilified. People who choose not to have kids shouldn't act like they're better than everyone else. I always see people on this sub saying parents aren't special and all that, but I would turn that around and say you're not special for not having kids. People should all just respect each other's choices when it comes to something as big as having kids. I agree, nobody is special. As someone who doesn't want to have kids, I unfortunately see this way too often. Personally, I'm in the mindset of different lifestyles make different people happy. None is better than the other, so it disappoints me when I see people go, ha ha ha, being a parent must suck, enjoy your prison of crotch goblins or whatever name they can make up for children. Instead of people just pursuing what makes them happy, it kind of became a shit-flinging contest. Well, you see, certain people who have kids are notorious for putting down and questioning the decisions of those who decide not to have them. They sometimes try to force the ideology that life is just so much better with kids and you aren't a complete person until you have them or some BS like that. Those people haven't respected child-free people, so I see this as the way they are retaliating, just like the not like other girls thing. The girls who bullied others for being different just happened to cross off the same stereotype boxes in bitch bingo, and now those victims of the abuse came back to make fun of them for their conformity and shared vanity. I think at the end of the day, it's not that deep, and it's just a way to stick it to those who didn't have the decency to respect our decisions and never thought about how we felt. People have been having kids in way worse situations than our current one since the dawn of time. They didn't have any formal education or birth control. That's also not true because the Holocene mass extinction is happening now. It's literally the worst time in human history to have kids. Having kids can actually be a great incentive to improve ourselves and the world we live in. Adoption, fostering, volunteering is a great incentive to improve ourselves and the world we live in. Having children in the modern era is the most cruel and selfish thing a person can do. Number 1, they're ignoring that people already exist who need help and forcing another life into the world to compete for already poorly distributed resources. 2, they're forcing a child into an environmental crisis. 3, they're forcing a child to deal with a dangerous and cruel world. The children will have to deal with a lifetime of pain, and their best case scenario is healthy wage slaves. I defy you to list one unselfish reason to have a child. I mean, I'm not really sure who you associate with, but where I am, it's the exact opposite. Most people put themselves on a pedestal for having kids and act like they are some kind of saint for it. Meh, I still stand by my principal belief that adults who choose not to procreate are selfish. I don't vocalize it or get in anyone's face about it, but internally I believe this to be true. Not trying to shit on your post, but I've only ever known parents to think they're superior and have honestly never known anybody without children who thinks they're better because of it. Are there really people that do that? I doubt I'll ever have kids, and I'm also the first to say you're not special just because you reproduced. But I certainly don't feel superior to anybody because of that. Looks do matter. I've seen too many people saying, oh, what's important is your personality, not your physical appearance. I really think this is total BS. Yes, there certainly are ugly people out there that can get a partner. Yes, I think that personality is important, but come on. Your physical appearance matters too. Do you think a girl will ever date a dude like me that looks like a garbage bin? And no, I'm not exaggerating anything here. I can assure you I'm one of the ugliest people you've ever seen. I'm so ugly that in the parties I go, I literally repel people. When I sit somewhere, people in a 5-meter radius around me go somewhere else like I was a smelly bag of trash. And this has happened to me way too many times. I am really tired of these people saying that looks don't matter. Of course they do. I'm the proof they do. P.S. No, I don't smell bad. I really care about my hygiene and I shower every day. Looks don't matter is a phrase to make people feel better. Looks is important, but a bad personality negates everything. Looks may get your foot in the door for some people, but a good personality and a sense of humor is what makes people stick around. I managed to keep my boyfriend for more than 4 years and he wants to spend his life with me. Looks do matter, but not everyone had the same preferences or standards. I think it's important to say, even though this is clearly a desperate plea for reassurance that you will nevertheless willfully ignore, but other people reading this might not be so bitter or angry, and it might help them. I don't want to be mean, but ugly people can be popular if they have personality. Beautiful people can be popular with no personality. But if you have neither, then you might just have to give up being the life of the party and be happy hanging with the homies. The way I see it is that popularity is a fickle thing and isn't really worth all that much. If you can make good friends with a few solid people, often that will be enough to sustain you. To be honest, I think a good sense of style can make anyone attractive. Just dress well, have good hygiene, and stay healthy. Good genes are just a bonus at that point. Looks matter for hookups, and that's it, really. In a long-term relationship, I couldn't survive with someone with a shitty personality.